Picture this, you're a busy woman juggling countless responsibilities, work deadlines, family commitments, social engagements, and the everyday hustle that can feel relentless. You start the week with the best intentions, excited to stick to your weight loss goals. But as the day goes by, life takes over. The demands pile up, and before you know it, you're reaching for takeout menus instead of preparing healthy meals. You find yourself skipping workouts because there's just no time, and those once promising weight loss habits start to fade away. You feel the frustration creeping in as the scale doesn't budge, and those initial efforts feel wasted. It's a familiar cycle. You start strong and then struggle to keep up. But what if I told you that there's a way to make your weight loss journey not only achievable, but sustainable? And it doesn't have to be overwhelming or time consuming. In this episode, we're gonna explore how dedicating just a little time each week to meal planning can be a game changer. And, by specifically simplifying your approach and integrating small manageable changes into your routine, you can set yourself up for success without sacrificing your precious time. So let's dive in and discover how to make your weight loss journey easier and more fulfilling, turning those good intentions into lasting results. So why is it so important for us to plan our meals in the first place? It can feel like it's extra effort and requires the extra energy that we just don't have. And it's easier just to go to the supermarket, chuck a few things into the trolley and figure it out as you go through the week. And I totally get it. I've definitely been there. But when we carve out that time to do some meal planning, it really does help us to plan our meals better so that we can make better food choices during the week, so that we don't find ourselves at a point during the week where we either don't have all the ingredients that we need, or maybe some ingredients have expired and we're not wasting food or wasting time. And I don't know about you, but at the end of the day, I'm kind of all decisioned out. I've made a lot of decisions in the day. I've done a lot of thinking and expended a lot of mental energy. And when I get to the end of the day, having to make a decision about what to eat just feels like the worst thing. And actually removing that decision making by planning ahead and potentially prepping ahead can just make it feel so much easier. And you've likely got goals or things that you're trying to incorporate into your healthy habits. Maybe you're trying to eat extra veg, or maybe you're trying to get some extra protein into your breakfast, or just incorporate certain foods. And it's much easier to actually see that through and commit to that when we plan to do it. These things don't just magically happen, particularly when it is the end of the day and we are all out of energy. So planning these things in and making sure that we are being quite strategic is really, really helpful to ensure that you actually make changes that are going to last in the long term. And if you've never done meal planning before or any meal prepping before, then I can't tell you how much time you're going to save. And it feels hard at first. Whenever you're learning something new, you're putting into place a new habit, it can feel hard. And I know that when I started properly meal planning, I found it really difficult. I kind of sit there and try to think about what I was going to eat. And I tried to think about what I need to put on the food list. And it felt like a lot of work. And it did feel like, it would just be easier to just kind of chuck the staple things in the trolley and hope that I can throw something together at the time. But after a while, after being consistent with doing the meal planning, it gets so much easier, because once you've planned out a few weeks, then you can kind of rinse and repeat or mix and match, and you don't have to be thinking from scratch every time about creating new meals or new ways to deal with busy days. And, that's a really important factor as well, is that when we've got busy days, when we've got long days, we can plan for that so that you don't have to spend much time in the kitchen. We can plan so that you've got leftovers for those days when you're going to be busy. So I highly recommend that you schedule into your diary that you have an hour, maybe an hour and a half to do some meal planning. And you'll need less time as time goes on. You'll get more efficient, you'll get better at doing things. But initially, schedule in plenty of time. A Sunday afternoon is often a great time, as it is kind of the end of the week, beginning of the week. But whenever makes sense for you, it could be if you're taking one of your kids to a club and you're going to be sitting in the car waiting for them, maybe that's the ideal time to do it. So leverage your time and find a time that makes sense for you when you've got a little bit of energy as well. And make sure you schedule it into your diary so that it actually happens. Now, one of the first things that you're going to want to do is look ahead to the upcoming week. Look at your schedule. Are there any days where you're going to have very limited time in the kitchen? Are there any days when you're going to have a little bit more time to play with? And think about what types of meals are going to be convenient for you on those days. Is leftovers going to be helpful on Tuesday? Is a really quick meal going to be helpful on Wednesday? Maybe buying some pre-chopped or some frozen things so that you can just quickly throw them into a pan is going to be the easy thing to do on Thursday. So look at your schedule, look at what you've got coming up. Also look at other people's schedules as well. Your partner and your kids, see how they can help you as well, and plan the meals around this. So that's the first thing that you're going to want to think about, the schedule. And then if you've got the bandwidth, and this might be something that comes as you get more into the habit of meal planning and you feel like you've got a little bit of extra capacity to put a bit more thought into it, what you want to think about next is, what are your goals and what are your metabolic needs? So can we get some extra protein into your breakfast, for example, so that we're balancing your blood sugars? Are we going to try and combine your protein and your complex carbohydrates at lunchtime so that you've got a really steady release of energy throughout the afternoon and you're not getting that afternoon slump? Are we going to try and get a little bit of extra carb in our dinners on the days when we're doing more activity or longer workouts? So think about, what is it that meal needs to achieve for you? And then you can also get extra strategic by thinking about really specific needs. Like, for example, do you have a thyroid issue? Does your thyroid need a bit more support? If so, maybe planning in some iodine-rich foods like seaweed or some selenium-rich foods like Brazil nuts to snack on is going to be really helpful. So you can plan those into your meal plan and add them to your shopping list as well. So once you've got your meal plan together, you're going to want to put together a detailed shopping list. Now, the detail is really key here, because if we miss out the detail, then it can be difficult to follow through with the meal plan. So when I'm talking about detail, this means quantities. So if you are cooking a few meals that require mushrooms, for example, but you don't think about how many mushrooms you might need throughout the week, you're going to run out of ingredients halfway through the week. So think about quantities of things, write them down in a way that's meaningful to you, whether it's 1 pack, 2 pack, or whether we're talking more in grams. And also think about how you're writing these things on the list. I really like to write down the foods on the list in the order that I find them in the shop. Once you've been to a supermarket a couple of times, you generally know where things are. So if you're going to come across the veg as you walk in, write down the veg at the top of the list. If you're going to come across the meat and dairy after that, write down the meat and dairy next. It might sound a little bit extra, but actually it does make your life a lot easier once you get in the supermarket, because you're much less likely to miss something and have to go all the way back to the beginning. It does make it a lot quicker to get through the supermarket. And honestly, I can get in and out in 10 minutes, depending on the queues at the tills. But if we make a specific list, then we, one, stick to that list. We don't get sidetracked by tempting things, and some supermarkets have incredible smells going on, which can be very, very tempting. But when we have a very specific list, it's much easier to just be laser focused, not get distracted, not lose the will to live, and end up, buying things that we don't actually really want. So for efficiency, it's a really good idea to buy ingredients that can be used in multiple meals throughout the week. And it's important to get variety in your diet, but that variety could come week by week. So you could have one selection of vegetables that you eat one week and then a different selection of vegetables that you eat another week to get that variety in. But it might be that in week one, you are having onions, mushrooms, green beans, leeks, and just choosing dishes that work with the same produce. Again, to help reduce food waste. And also, I don't know about you, but sometimes I can't fit all the stuff that I want in the fridge. So choosing the same veg that we can use over and over, or choosing things that some of them can be in the freezer, then that helps to save space and helps to just reduce food waste and make things more efficient overall. So for example, you could chop up your veg for the week and then use them in each meal as you cook. You could chop up all your veg and chuck it all in a pan and just roast up a big tray of veggies that you can eat throughout the week. I certainly do that quite often. It's a great option for lunches as well. You can also buy a big pack of chicken thighs or chicken breasts to, again, cook up all in one go, and then that will see you through the week. A really cost-effective option is to buy a whole chicken, and then if you've got a average size slow cooker, you can fit a chicken in the slow cooker. You don't need to put anything else in, no fluids, no ingredients, but by all means, feel free to put extra seasonings in. But you don't have to. Stick it in there on low, 7 hours, and you've got yourself a cooked chicken, and it falls off the bone, and there's a lot of meat there, which you can use in other dishes. You can use it for snacks. You can freeze some of it. You can use it for lunches. It's a very, very versatile ingredient that goes a very long way. And then you can even, if you wanted to, go the extra mile and cook down the bones, make a broth, make a stock, and use that in your cooking as well. And then along with all of this, when you're prepping these other things, you could also cook up a large batch of quinoa or brown rice, for example, so that you've got some carb to go with these things. And then if you need a quick meal at some point throughout the week, or if you just need some good lunches, you can grab some of that chicken, you can grab some of that carb, and you can grab some of that veg, and you've got yourself a balanced meal. So I very often get asked, what is the best thing to eat for lunch? Because sandwiches aren't very balanced and tend to be quite processed. And there's a lot of people struggle to kind of think outside the box of other things that they can have for lunch other than sandwiches or salads. And as I said, I really like to cook up a big tray of roasted veg, and then I might have that with a tin of mackerel one day. I might have it with some eggs another day. I might have it with some cooked chicken another day. So you can kind of feel like you're having a different lunch each day, but you did all the work in a really easy, manageable way, all in one go. But one of my favorite things to do is just eat leftovers for dinner. You can cook up a bolognese or a chili or a curry or anything and save some, cook extra and save some for your lunch the next day. It is one of the easiest things to do. And it means that when you're meal planning, you only have to plan your dinners. You don't need to think about lunch because you're going to cook a little bit of extra dinner each day and have it for your lunch. Easy peasy. Easy when you live at home or you work at home. And if you work in an office where you can take in leftovers and they've got a microwave, then that's great. If you're on the road, it's a little bit different. It can be a bit more tricky. And You can get food flasks, like things that keep your food hot for many hours. So you could use something like that if you want a hot meal at lunchtime. But the thing that I mentioned earlier with the roasted veg, you can have that cold. And I actually really enjoy that cold. So it doesn't matter if you're eating these leftovers cold. So these are just a few strategies to simplify your weight loss journey and make it truly sustainable. At the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? To see our efforts pay off and feel more confident and good about ourselves. And the great news is that you don't have to navigate this journey alone. By getting a copy of our ebook, Reignite Your Metabolism, a 3-step weight loss guide for women over 40, you'll have a supportive partner every step of the way. We've created this ebook with your unique needs in mind, tailoring it for your changing body. So this guide is not just another generic weight loss plan. Every strategy is specifically designed to work with the physiological changes that occur after 40, ensuring that it really resonates with your experience. Not only that, but it is a holistic approach. We really believe in achieving and addressing every aspect of your life that impacts metabolism and overall health, not just diet and exercise. And it's science-backed strategies. Each recommendation is grounded in the latest research on women's health, metabolism, and longevity, giving you confidence in your choices. And most importantly, it is practical and sustainable. You can say goodbye to extreme measures and unrealistic expectations. We focus on sensible, achievable changes that seamlessly fit into your busy life. And it goes beyond weight loss. While you certainly will shed the pounds, you can also look forward to increasing energy, having enhanced mental clarity, improving sleep, and a renewed sense of vitality. And I truly believe that this ebook will be a valuable tool in your weight loss journey. And here's an exciting bonus. The ebook includes a 7-day kickstart plan to help you jumpstart your progress. How awesome is that? So don't wait any longer. Grab your copy today. Use the code NOW40 to enjoy 50% off. Just click the link in the show notes or visit louisedigbynutrition.com/ebook 40. And for those of you who have already got the ebook, I'd really love to connect with you. If you have any questions, if you need any clarification on anything, don't hesitate to reach out to me on Instagram at louisedigbynutrition. If you've completed your personalised testing and you are seeking further assistance, we're here for you. Feel free to send us a message. And if you'd prefer a more in-depth conversation, you can easily book a call through the link in the show notes. And I'm excited to support you on your journey.